What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Hey man, check it out. I got the Alesis Nitro Max and the Simmons Titan 50, and I'm gonna go head to head with them. We're gonna go spec for spec. We're gonna go pound for pound and see which one you should buy. Right here, right now, on this channel. It's about to go down. So, you ready? Here we go. So check it out. I got the Alesis Nitro Max and the Simmons Titan 50 for the ultimate versus of all verses. This is the one that I keep getting asked about, so here we go. So what do I think about both of these drum sets? I think this is a good matchup. These drum sets are very, very similar in a lot of ways. And I think by the end of this, you'll be ready to go shopping for Christmas if you're in this level or on this budget for a drum set. So let's start with the Alesis Nitro Max. It is an 8-piece. It has a dual zone snare, single zone toms. You get your cymbals. They do have choke on them and all of that. Same thing with the Titan 50. You get the exact same setup as far as eight piece dual zone snare and single zone toms. Although it has the higher lip on it, the Simmons has the higher rim, while the Alesis has the more flat rim, nothing to hit on the edge. So when you put them side by side like that, kick pedal, all of that, they're very, very well matched. So let's start breaking them down and start adding points to them to see who comes out where. Let's start with the Nitro Max, and I'm gonna start with the kick pedal first. On both of these, they do give you a nice kick pedal, but if you've been watching my channel long enough, you already know that I am a fan of the rubber kick pedal by Alesis. It is really, really nice. I do like the way it works. Now, matching it up with the Simmons kick pedal and kickstand, yeah, it's really, really nice. Don't get me wrong. The only difference that you don't get that rubber, you get that mesh head, but it's a little bit bigger. The surface is a little bit different. So it looks like if you're going to play a double bass, you're going to be able to do double bass better on the Simmons than you will on the Nitro. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the kick pedal of the Simmons is better. I should say the drum itself. The pedals are evenly matched. I cannot even say enough about that. But the kick drums themselves, if I had to make a choice on which one I like the most, I have to go with the Nitro Max on that. I have to throw a point in the corner of the Nitro Max because I really do think that that rubber mallet is really, really nice. If I had to give another point, which I'm not going to do, I would say double bass would probably be easier, definitely easier. So for a double bass point, I'm going to give the Simmons a half point on that just because of that. That double bass just seems like it'll work better on there. So I'll give him a half point for that. All right, let's move on to the snares themselves. Both of them are 10-inch snares, and they both are dual zone. I have not been able to see which one picks up better than the other, so I have to give them a tie on that because I think that they both work very well, and they're a good size. I wish that all of the toms were the same size as the 10 because they're all 8s on both drum sets, but at that point, when it comes to just the snares themselves, I will give the points to. It's a tie. I'm gonna give them both a point on that. Let's talk about the toms. Now, I like the Simmons tom better because of the rim, but I do like the no rim on the other. And I think what it comes down to is when it comes to playing drums, my opinion, the rim is more akin to what you would find on an acoustic set. And I think if I'm introducing somebody to drums, they need to get used to setting up and also getting used to not hitting the rim while they're playing. I think that even though they got rid of the rim completely on the Nitro Max, I think that if you're going to be switching or practicing for the acoustic playing, then you're going to get a better feel for that on the Simmons. So what I'm going to do in this regard, I'm going to give it a tie. Even though one is different, I'm going to give them a tie. I'm going to give them both a point for the type of tom setup, the rim on that tom. All right, let's talk about the cymbals. I'm just going to cut right to the quick. The cymbals basically are exactly the same. So instant tie, nothing else to say except they're basically the same. All right, now let's go to the rack system. Now, many of you that have been watching the channel know that I really do like the Simmons rack system. And so I'm going to talk about the Nitro rack system. Now, when I first looked at the rack system itself, I thought, oh, wow, this is, exactly like what they always do. And that brings me to the point of why I don't really care for it. Even no matter how I play with this, at some point, the drum just seems to look like it's hard to show it on camera, but it always seems like it's leaning or something like that. It doesn't sit sturdy or straight up and down. I shouldn't say sturdy. I should say more straight up and down. And that part is something that I did not like about other versions of Alesis drums. Not once you get up into the higher, like the Strike Pros and stuff like that. No, it's not like that. But when you're going into the lower levels, that's something that I started to notice, that they always seem like they had a lean. Now, I don't know if that's by design, and maybe it is, but it just seems a little bit weird to me. And so for that reason, I don't really care for that. Now, as far as durability of both, assuming that lean is built in and it's not something that's just actually happens because it's cheaply made, then durability-wise, I think that they're both equally as durable. I do not think that the Simmons is going to fall apart on you at all. And sometimes I wonder about the Nitro Max, or any of the Alesis drums. But what really pushes me more toward the Simmons when it comes to their rack system is, first of all, starts as soon as you open the box. If you're putting these drum sets together side by side, you're going to finish the Simmons drum setup long before you finish the Nitro Max, because when you pull the Simmons out of the box, it just unfolds. It just like origami, it just unfolds for you and it's ready to go. Whereas the Nitro Max, you're gonna have to lay out all of those pieces, make certain that you're paying attention to the diagram and put them together. It took me a minute to put it together, which brings me to another problem of the Nitro Max. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this problem based on the cage itself. And let me grab it. And I'm gonna fault them for this. And that is this: they constantly break out the Allen wrench. And why? This is like so 1983, and it's time for Alesis to ditch the Allen wrench. You can do the exact same thing with a drum key setup, and Simmons proves that in their setup. They use, y'all see me looking over here, the Simmons is off camera, but it's over here. The Simmons use the drum key for the entire setup. Again, another reason why it's a lot easier to put these Simmons together than it is the Nitro Max or pretty much any of the Alesis drums. And that is this: I don't know how many times I dropped this key, and that is something that is very annoying about Alesis. So yeah, if I'm gonna award the point, it's gotta go to the Simmons. Now, when it comes to the module of these two drum sets, I'm gonna start off by saying I think that, as far as design is concerned, the thinness of the Simmons is really, really cool. The Alesis has, a lot of the basic same setup, but it's just bulkier, and it's bulkier so that you can hold your phone. So what they did was built the phone stand directly into it versus the way Alesis does it, where it comes on and off. Neither one of those is bad. Neither one of those makes it exceptionally well or better than the other. So I'm gonna have to give, as far as build quality of the modules themselves, I'm gonna give them both a point. I'm gonna give them a tie. Let's get to the part that everybody wants to hear about, and that is the sound quality of both. Now, I'm going to challenge you to go to the store yourself. Always take your own set of headphones and plug in, because the ones at the store are probably blown out the water. Whatever you would typically listen on, nothing Bluetooth, but whatever you would typically listen on, take that in and go ahead and listen to these drums for yourself. Now, I'm going to talk about the sounds, but if you've watched my channel, you know how I feel about discussing sounds. I can EQ any sound and make it sound better than what it was. So it's very, very difficult for me to kind of talk about the sounds in a negative way or positive way, because I know I can make a change when I get into my computer. But let's talk about those of us that are going to use our headphones to play. Again, your headphones are going to make a difference. I can play through, you can listen to this, and it's all dependent on the volume and of how things are recorded, but they both have great sounds. However, I'm going to talk about one sound in particular. There's one particular snare in the Alesis that is a carryover snare that they use, and it sounds like they re-recorded just a little bit, boosted a little bit. I love that snare sound, and so just because of that snare sound, I'm going to give Alesis a point. Now, I'm not done with sounds, but I'm giving them another point. When it comes to comparing the sounds across the board, I think, and I want you to go, you can leave a comment, tell me what you think, but I think the Simmons, a lot of their drums, the Alesis drums sound a little bit overproduced. And I think I feel that way based on recording drums and knowing that I'm going to do some type of editing to that drum in my situation. To me, the Simmons sounds a lot more natural in a lot of their drums without overproduction of the actual drum, whereas the Alesis doesn't. It seems as though the Alesis is really just saturated. It's kind of like, it's like why I don't use Beats headphones or Bose headphones. They really add a lot more bass, really add a lot of stuff to it that oversaturates, and you're really not getting a good sound of what was originally intended. I'm not saying it sounds bad. I'm saying it just feels a little bit oversaturated in what they do. And some of the drum sounds in the Alesis, which do sound good, feel a bit oversaturated to me. Now, if you're going to be just playing, you might want that. That might be perfect for you. But if I'm going to award the point for what sounds more natural, I'm going to give the point to the Simmons. One more thing on the sounds. Everybody knows that the Simmons has the Titan packs that you can download. They do that, connect your computer through and swap out the sounds, which I really think is a great idea. The Nitro Max does something very, very similar, but I shouldn't say very, very similar. I should just simply say similar. You have to have a computer to do it. If you don't have access to that computer, you cannot do it. There's two programs that you can download. I'll put the names on screen because all of a sudden I just drew a blank of those programs. And they work a little bit differently. One is really about sounds and the other is about learning, okay? They do that with a computer, not with an app. They don't have their own app. Now, I'm not trying to go into the app situation, but I have to mention it because that's how they do it. Whereas Simmons does the learning portion on their native app. When it comes to the sounds, Titan packs are downloaded from a computer and put on there. If you haven't already, go into the description and I'll leave a link to a video where I really explain how it works so that you can answer that question. When it comes to sounds and sounds of the drums, I think I'm going to give a point to the Simmons. And here's why. I have to look at it as if I was playing and I was going to pick this drum set up and go somewhere else. I can set that drum set up and go and take those sounds and go. I can download them if I want to or bring my computer. But no matter what, I have to bring the computer if I want to swap those sounds out. So because there's something that I would have to carry for those sounds constantly, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Simmons and give the point to the Simmons on that. Now, let's talk about the app since I talked about sounds, and I'm going to finish up with sounds and app together, and then I'll go to another part of the app and these two drums. When it comes to the app and sounds, I'm going to give the point immediately to the Simmons because you can actually build drums yourself and put them on your phone and in the app on your phone. You can take those sounds with you wherever you go, but not only can you do that, you can actually share those sounds with other drummers. You can give those sounds to other people. You cannot do that with the Nitro. But in the Simmons app, you can actually share the sounds. And you just have to, you got to admit, that's cool. Now, continue with the app. Practice is amazing on the Simmons app. Very, very simple. They have the practice set up in here as well. Don't get me wrong, in the module, but I'm only talking about the app itself. They don't have a native app. You have to have a separate computer to download the Melodics program to actually do it, whereas it's native on the app. All you have to have is your phone, which you're going to have with you anyway. So as it relates to the sound quality or app usage and ease of use because of the phone, the point has to go to Simmons one more time. All right, let's talk about expandability, the ability to add more pieces. These both get a point. You can do the exact same thing. You can add extra time and you can add an extra cymbal to both of these to take these up to making them a 10-piece. Now, here's the cool part on both of these. On both of these drums, you can pull the cable out of the drum, split it, and add more stuff. So you can go up to a total of 8 toms on either of these drums. It works either way on either of these drums. So with that being said, I have to award them both the point. They both expand exactly the same and can be split exactly the same. Because although the drums themselves physically do not have a dual zone pickup, they're only single zone, meaning that you can only hit the mesh head and not the rim, you can unplug the cable and split it, and by that splitter, set up another drum. Now, both drums at that point become single zone drums, but that gives you the ability, whether you want to change it to all toms or all drums, or even make a pad a cymbal, you can go up to 8 additional pieces on those. And that, my friend, is really clever. All right, let's talk about Bluetooth. When you pop the Alesis Nitro Max out of the box, you see the big old Bluetooth button, and I already know what you're gonna do because the first thing I did, I attempted to see if I could connect my Bluetooth headphones. You cannot. What you have to do is connect it to your phone and then use your Bluetooth headphones. As they do that same trick with the audio where you can do it, but it all has to be done. You can play through your phone and play along with the song through the phone, right? You know, through your Bluetooth headphones. They both got that. Now, where they get a little bit different and yet still sort of the same as the Bluetooth Midi, meaning that you, instead of using wires to connect to your DAW, you can Bluetooth Midi directly to your computer. Both same exact process to make it work. So when it comes to the Bluetooth audio, Bluetooth Midi side, I gotta give them a tie. All right, y'all. Let me come down to the very end of this and give y'all my overview of what I think of these drums. But just before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to one of the greatest to ever do it. I want you to he rests in peace, Aaron Spears. Man, unbelievable drummer, and you're gonna be missed. And I wish I could do 1/10 of what that brother could do. All right, let's get to it. We can go by the point system, and you can make your decision based on my point system. I'm pretty sure that the Simmons came out on top. But honestly, if I just had to choose and make a choice, if I was you and I was going Christmas shopping and I wanted to make a choice on which one of these drum sets I would take home, I have to go with the Simmons Titan 50. Hands down, easiest choice ever made. I think that build quality is a little bit better. I love the more natural sound. I love the ease of setup. And those 3 things I think stand out the most for me about these drums. I think that the Alesis Nitro Max is a great option, but I think when it comes to comparing drums, I think that the Simmons drums kind of outclasses it just enough where they're not really the same league of drum. I just don't think they're the same league of drum. I'm not saying that the Nitro Max is a slouch. I'm just saying that the Simmons Titan 50 is a better setup. And I think you'll do a much better job and feel much better about it by buying that drum set. Now, if you like oversaturated sound and a lot of electronic stuff, go ahead and go with the Nitro Max. But I think if you're looking for something that's gonna last you a while, that you're gonna enjoy, that feels bigger, more like a real drum set, it's a little bit bigger when I set it up. Even with the ability to add more stuff to it, everything's just a little bigger. You have to go with the Simmons Titan 50, hands down. So listen, if you enjoy my videos, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you ding the bell so that you can see when the next video drops. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.